Hey guys, this is Everything Fondant, and today I'm going to show you how to make this small Transformers cake in the Bumblebee characters theme. So I started off by covering a 6-inch square cake with yellow fondant, and then just cut two pretty thin strips out of black fondant, and those are going to be the black stripes that you would see on the Bumblebee car. And then once I have my black stripes cut, I'm just going to go ahead and brush some water on where I want to place them so that it will stick. And then I'll just go ahead and lay the black stripes on and try to keep them really straight. Obviously you don't want to apply too much pressure until you have it lined up the way that you want. Then I just take a little X-Acto knife and cut off the excess, and then do the same thing to the back. And then we'll just do the same thing to the other stripe, and I want to leave a pretty good gap in between so that my little Bumblebee character can fit in between. And also, you know, on a car obviously there's a pretty big gap in between the stripes, so just try to make it look like that. So once I have my stripes on, I just take little pieces of black fondant and roll them up. I'm going to do that and roll several of them because eventually I'd like to go ahead and put them all the way around the base of the cake. And I also do the same thing with white and yellow fondant as well. I think I ended up with about 16 of each color. And now it's time to add them to the base of the cake. Before I start putting the fondant balls around the bottom, I go ahead and just brush some water all the way around. And like I've said in previous videos, I always use water as my glue because it's not messy and it just works really well. So basically just, you know, whatever color pattern you want to do on there. I was just doing black, yellow, and white, a repeating pattern of those colors. And I just did that all the way around. So as you can see, I alternated the colors all the way around, and this is kind of the base design for the cake. It's pretty simple. So now I'm going to start on the little name tag that I had on there by rolling out white fondant. And then I just use a pizza cutter, my go-to fondant cutting tool, to remove some of the fondant and just make it a little bit smaller because this is a small cake and I don't want it to be too big. So once I have it cut the size that I want, I'm just taking my X-Acto knife again, and I'm just going to start cutting little triangles out so that the outside of my circle can look like a zigzag pattern. That shape to me was more of an action kind of look, and so that's why I went with this as opposed to my usual birthday banners that I do. It just looks more masculine and fun, I guess. So I did that pattern all the way around, and this is what it looks like. It's a fun little background for any name. So I rolled out some more black fondant, and now I'm going to go ahead and cut out the name that's going to go on the background. The name is obviously Liam, and all I do is just use the little fondant letter cutters. These cutters usually work awesome on store-bought fondant, but I've found that when I make my own fondant out of marshmallows, it gets a little sticky for these letters, and I end up having to just make my own letters, just rolling them up, kind of like Play-Doh. But for this, the black fondant works really well with these letters, so that's what I went ahead and used. Once I have my letters cut out, I go ahead and just kind of do a dry fit on the background here. I don't want to glue it down until I know exactly how I want the letters to be placed. And this is kind of trial and error here. I thought I wanted to go with a more playful design, but I'm just gonna keep it nice and straight. The perfectionist in me just wants it to be nice and lined up and evenly spaced. Before I put my little name tag on the top, I had to cut out some of the black strips so that it wouldn't be so bumpy underneath the name tag. So I just basically glued the letters on and then just went ahead and placed it on the top. So now I'm going to use some red fondant, and I'm just going to roll it out and try to make the number 6. And I know it looks like I'm using Play-Doh, but this is really fondant. Play-Doh and fondant are actually pretty similar in the texture and the consistency. So I say if you can play with Play-Doh, then you can definitely use fondant. So once it's rolled out, I cut it and just shape it into a 6 and just cut the excess off. And it's that simple, really. And now you have the number 6. So I go ahead and use my magical water glue and go ahead and brush it on and just go ahead and stick the 6 directly onto the fondant, and it'll stay there pretty easily. So after I was done with my 6, I cut out some red, yellow, white, and black stars and just went ahead and attached them to some floral wire that you can get by the fake flowers like in Walmart, or you can get it at Michael's. But I just go ahead and put it on there, and this is going to be decorations for the top of the cake. So before I put the stars on, I'm actually going to put my little Bumblebee character on, and I'm just going to place him right in the center of the cake behind my little name tag. The top of the fondant is kind of sticky, so I don't have to use any kind of glue. The plastic sticks right to it, so I do want to make sure I leave some room behind it so that I can put my stars on though. So I'm going to start with the black one, and I'm going to put that one right in the middle, and then I did 2 of each of the other colors, and I'm going to put one on both sides of the black star so they will be an even pattern. Black, red, yellow, and white, and as you can see, I'm kind of making each one go a little bit lower so it'll be kind of like a diagonal line. And then just do the same pattern on the other side of the black star. Once you're done putting the stars in, you're basically done. That's a finished cake right there. This is very, very simple, but it looks really cute. Definitely a good beginner's cake. Thanks so much for watching my video. I hope you have an awesome day, and God bless.